So this is like module 7, implementing secure cloud solution. Okay, and here's my introduction. And moving to the cloud, securing your cloud, how you can secure your cloud application. Okay, so here we can maintain and manage secrets. Okay, so this gives you like you can secure your application, and you can store your certificate and password connection string in the key vault. Okay, so Azure gives you a feature where you can store your application in key vault. Okay, so what this key vault is, like one place where you maintain your identity. Okay, let's suppose I have the username password which I want to connect with application. Generally, when you go in Azure, they gives you a API. Actually, if I go to the Azure and from the function app, I want to connect to a storage account to get the data or anything I have created, like I have created a storage account and I want to get a data from a storage account. Okay, so Azure gives you access key, correct? This we have used so many times. So there is a key and the connection string. So this connection string, if I copy and I go to my .NET application, I can connect to this storage account and I can do. Okay, also it gives you SaaS tokens. Okay, so that you can configure here and shared access signature and you can use it. Okay, but what is this? This is a connection string. You are directly using it here. Okay, in your application, you go in your application, you provide this connection string, you will be able to connect. Okay, so I don't want to use this. How I can secure this connection string from the external application, or I don't want to share this connection string with any of the application. I have a scenario like this is the storage account I have. I have created a container. I have a blob here. Okay, and there's a file stored here. So I don't want to give this connection string to anyone. Okay, so I have created a sample application which you can see here, and you can go and we have created a storage account. We have created a key vault and one function app. What happened? This key vault stores your credentials and connection string. So I went to this key vault and I have created a secret here. Okay, you can create secret, keys, and certificates. I have created a secret. What secret is? I have put my connection string inside here. Okay, so I went to here, generate, and I want this next secret. KeyVault. Secret. Okay. This. We can enter your here connection string actually. Okay. Whatever connection string I can copy from the from a storage account. Okay. I can put it here and just create. Okay. So this name, with this name, I have associated my connection string, which is there in the storage account. Okay. Let's create it. I'll show you. Okay, this connection string I copy it. Okay, I'll put it in my notepad. So I don't want to share this connection string. I will go to my key vault and I'll create a secret. Okay, I'll put my secret name, my storage secret. Okay, and I'll put this value here and just create. Okay. When I go here, what it's giving me, it's giving me a URL. Okay. this URL I need to use in my application to authenticate my application. Okay, so I don't have to use this. Now my application is using this to connect with KeyVault. KeyVault will internally use my connection string and connect with the storage account. Okay, so next I have one function here created. I can go to my function app and I can go to configuration. Generally, we give our application setting and connection string here. Okay, so you. We generally give here our application configuration and setting here to connect to any of application. Okay, generally we provide endpoint and anything which you want to do. Generally we give connection string here. So that is visible in application. But now the thing is I stored my connection string in KeyVault. So I will go here and this is how you have to add a KeyVault connection string. So you can see here, this is the KeyVault connection string. So it says that @ Microsoft KeyVault secure URI equal to whatever the URI I have created, I can put it here. And generally what this application is going to connect to KeyVault, and KeyVault will be authenticating my application. So here we need to enable the identity. This is what I have shown you earlier. There is a system managed identity and the user managed identity. There's two types of identity which we have here. So let's come to this. This is the Azure Key Vault, which will be storing your data in the secure manner, and you'll be like, this is a Key Vault concept where you have wallet, wallet owner, and wallet consumer you need to define. Okay, this is the managed identity and service principle. Okay, so when it comes to the managed identity and service principle, like you define your application with the these two things. Okay. Like managed identity, you can say when you deploy application on a virtual machine, okay, in Azure, you assign identity to the virtual machine and that will be accessed to the Key Vault. So that is called managed identity. So Microsoft itself is managing your identity on that. Next is service principle, and like multiple services you have. Okay, so there is one thing which you can say, like I have an application. Okay. Let's suppose that you have an application here, and something like some enterprise application you have. Enterprise application, okay, related to some healthcare. Okay, so this application you created, and there could be a possibility where directly a user is going to access this application, or any application is going to access. Okay, so this is called user, and then you have some application, APC application, which is going to use this application. So there's two types of authentication which is happening. Sometimes user is going and trying to access your application, and sometimes application is going and connecting your application. Okay, so there could be a possibility. Okay, so this is what you can configure it always, like what kind of authentication mechanism you want to use and you want to configure, so that you can define in service principle and all those things. See, like Key Vault secret stored like cryptographic keys you can store your secrets like username, password, and then that certificates you can store here. So this gives you like how we can use here. This is the CLI where you're creating a resource. So you can go ahead and use these commands in Azure CLI. So this is the Azure CLI, gives you the feature where you can go ahead and run your Azure command in Azure CLI, and this is creating a resource group, and then key vault you are creating, and then you are storing your database password into the key vault. Okay. And this key vault, you can also use this, like this is, you can see this is the example of the key vault URL, and you are getting authenticated with the key vault and you are using that. This is another Azure AD managed identity which you have, like whenever you want to keep credential out of the code. So where the key vault helps you. Okay, so you do authentication, like you, whenever you go and enable your man identity here. Okay, so once you enable your identity, this application, like I'll show you. Once we enable this identity, this day 6 function app will be shown in my key vault. Okay, so I have to just configure this application identity in my key vault so that my application will be authenticated. Like how relationship happens, you have to go to this and you go here in access policy. Okay, add access policy, and what kind of access you want to give. I want to give a get access. You have to just select here, and here you can choose your function app name. Okay, so currently it's not coming because I have already added. You can go ahead and remove this and then you add. Let me delete. Okay, and then save. Okay. Add access policy. I want to give a get access to my function app, and the function app name is day 6. Day 6 to 100. This is my function app name. Okay, so I am just selecting here and this and creating. So this is creating a rule so that whenever I, from the function app, I call this key vault URL, key vault URL will understand that this is the identity which has came from this application to the key vault, and key vault is saying that this is the get permission is required for this identity, and that will get it for me from the secret. Okay, so this is the relationship actually happens. So hope you have understood. Otherwise, I'll just. Okay. So in my scenario, what I have created a storage account. I have created a Azure function. I have created a key vault. Okay, these 3 things I have created. Okay, so this is my storage. This is my Azure function. My key vault. So what is happening? Whenever Azure function is requesting, okay, so it will come to the key vault. Okay, key vault will say that, okay, we have authentication for you, and then it goes to the storage account and get the access for you. So actually not like this, like a storage account is having your KeyVault URL. So no, like that. A storage account connection string. So here you have the connection string. Connection string, okay. Connection string is stored in KeyVault. It's stored here. Connection string is stored here. And it's giving me the API URL kind of thing. Then this API URL we are using in the function. This API URL we are using here. So whenever I'm calling the function app goes to the KeyVault. It's giving the API. We are passing the API URL, and then it's giving me the connect. It's internally authenticating with the storage account, and it's giving me back the result. So this is what happened with the Azure KeyVault.
Shadab, this is Karthik. So why storage account is coming into picture when Azure function is directly talking to Key Vault? Because we gave managed identity to Azure function, so it can directly get the access, right? I mean, why again it is going to storage account?
No, I want some file from a storage account. I have the file stored here. So
Okay.
which file I want to access in the Azure function?
Oh, okay. So in order to use storage account, you need a connection string, and to get connection string, you are reaching to Key Vault.
Yeah,
and
so we are not storing directly connection string in the key function.
Oh,
okay, so we have stored the connection string in KeyVault.
Okay. One more question. Maybe I can ask at the end of this Key Vault thing. You can continue now.
Okay. So this is the system assigned identity which I was talking about. Okay, so there is two types of identity we have: user assigned identity and system assigned identity. Once you enable a system assigned identity, system will assign a managed identity for each and every application separately, and which will be authenticated internally by Azure. Okay, so when you are assigning user identity, you share the same identity among different resources. Okay, so that you can use one resource group you create, and you give the same identity to authenticate with different resources which is available in Azure. That is called user assigned management. And whenever you go for system assignment and identity, it creates a unique identity for each and every resources. So here it says the difference. What is the difference between system assigned and user assigned? Create a part of Azure resources, for example, Azure Virtual Machine and app. Create a standalone Azure resources for user assigned management. Life cycle, if you talk, so there is a difference with life cycle as well. Okay. So you can see here use case like workload that contains within the single Azure resources. Workload for which you need to independent identities. So independent identities will be created. But here in the user managed identity, you are creating a same identity for the different instance. Okay, so this is the Azure CLI which you can use to connect with your resources and provide your identity. There are some app configuration. It shows that how you can configure, like from the app configuration. Okay. So actually what happens inside the KeyVault, like you provide your application configuration, you get a name. So just based on that, URL will be created, and you provide like one for the test, one for the staging, one for the production, and you use different URL for the different environment using the KeyVault. So that's it for this model. This is the small model which talks about security of your application, how we can authenticate and use your identity. And a small lab is associated with this. Yeah, so how we can use your identity with the Azure Key Vault. So you can go through this and just create a Key Vault and try to store some of the secrets and the certificates. So this, you can go through this and just try to replicate this scenario. Yeah. So you had some question, you can go.
Yeah, Shadab, Karthik here. So I'm working on right now. I'm working on a spike task, a POC. So I have to from the security scans are like we are using a third party application for scanning our code. So it found like we are using our connection strings openly in a plain text in configuration files. So then we decided to move them to Key Vault and access from Key Vault. But the problem is we have two types of application. One is Azure hosted, or like where we have Azure AD integrated, and the other application is non-Azure hosted application which doesn't have any connection with Azure or anything. So I would like to know if the application is non-Azure, how we can connect to Key Vault, and how we can get those connection strings from Key Vault secrets.
See, if it's not connected with Azure, it will be you'll not be able to achieve that Key Vault scenario actually. So a Key Vault means you are storing some secret and you are using it. So let's suppose like till your application is not connected. Let's suppose that you have a database, okay, and that is on-prem, and one application which you are talking about, like let me create a diagram to understand better. Okay. So you are saying this is your on-premises structure, okay, and you have your one application and one database which talks together, correct?
Right.
And
Looks like we lost Shadab. All right.
Yeah, I'm able to hear you, Narayan.
Yeah, I think we lost Shadab. Yeah, maybe his connection is lost. Maybe. We'll wait some time.
Hi, Kar. Hello.
Yeah, Vara, tell me.
Yeah. You have worked with the multi-tenant application?
No, actually, I have to implement.
Yeah, in my application, we have a two issues. We have a internal users and external users.
Same. I mean, yeah, I'm working on with the same thing. Like, there are few users within our organization, and also client users we have to enable access for.
Yeah, they're providing identity by using their internal identity by using Azure normal AD account. The another one is external users. They are proving the identity through Azure Active Directory. In that scenario, multi-tenant application is not working. Hello?
Yeah, Vara, I'm with you. Tell me.
How can I configure? How can I am unable to work with that?
That is what I'm I'm yet to start on that. So I have, maybe next 1 week or 2 weeks, I'll be working on that.
If any solution is there, let me know.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
And Karthik, if the Shadab is yet to join, maybe we can. So in your
Yeah.
scenario, if that is the scenario, then why you are preferring to use the Azure? Because there is no connection established, correct? Because you are saying completely different application. So
Yeah,
you
right.
can, but you can use the encryption decryption, and instead of keeping this connection string in, is it the .NET application or
Yeah.
in?
No. The problem is, see, we have evaluated multiple ways. One is to use secrets, but secrets again, those are stored at some common place where a hacker or a third party guy can know about it. And the second one is, you can do an encryption and decryption,
Yeah,
but yeah, using some algorithms, you can encrypt that, and while deploying or while putting it
access,
into production, you can decrypt and put it.
correct.
Yeah, in my application, we are doing like that one.
Yeah, hello.
That is
Yeah, sure.
a applications we are using the encrypted connection string and using that one. And KeyVault for the Azure storage application. In that scenario, we are working.
Yes, Shadab, maybe we lost you in between because maybe the
Yeah,
network
my
connection.
Wi-Fi got disconnected. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Shadab back now. Yeah.
Yeah, Karthik. So we are discussing something on that. So I lost in between.
Yeah, you want me to repeat that question, Shadab, or?
Yeah. So this is
Okay.
what I have created
Yeah.
during that time. So your application is not connected to Azure, and you just wanted to encrypt your application like connection string from the DB, and you want to connect to KeyVault. So that will not be possible, because what happens, either your database should be able to access the KeyVault if you have like connection, like if you have the KeyVault in the Azure.
Okay.
And so that you need to connect, and you have to achieve like Azure if you have. So how your application is going to connect with the KeyVault? That is the question. So again, you need to create a hybrid connection or something. So again, you will be doing one another hop. Your application will go to the KeyVault and then get secret and connect to database. So why to do that? So instead of that, you can encrypt your connection string and keep it in web config. Another way which you can do, like somewhere in the file or some other database, you keep your data like connection string encrypted. So those you can achieve. So instead of going there outside of your network.
Yeah, that is what I was speaking just before you reconnect, Shadab. So we evaluated multiple ways, like using secrets is one thing. Second thing is like encrypt password and save it in app config, and then while deploying you do a decryption, and the right credentials you use and deploy the SQL insertions or like any connection strings in configuration files. Yeah, this is one thing. The other applications, as I told you, are connected with Azure AD. So they are using KeyVault for those applications. So we thought like we can implement KeyVault for even this non-Azure related application. But I just created one POC, but I'm able to get it those things from that application. So what I did was, I created secrets, and I am using URI, Azure Key Vault URI, and I have some packages in .NET Core, and I'm able to read that configuration into code. But this I just tested in localhost, but I did not try it in any server deployed code or something like that. So I'm curious if it
Correct.
works in that environment or it
Yeah,
doesn't.
because you have created locally and you have the open connection with the Azure, but if you go in the configuring on your server, maybe production server, and you might not be having to connect to the open URL, then you will be having problem over there. because this gives you API where you can go ahead and use that. But when you don't have access from your production server, that will be difficult, and maybe you will not be able to connect to the open URL of the Azure KeyVault.
Okay. So I found one other way. I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe you can just tell me if I'm on right way. So what I did was I created an app registration in AD. Maybe like I just gave a sample name for it, or like application related name, and I got application ID and secret ID. Using that also I can. I mean, and I gave under that application I gave secrets, and you will get a secret ID, right? So I'm using that and I'm trying to access via that registered application. Is that I mean, will it work, or is that feasible if I have to do that way?
Yeah, from AD you was talking, correct?
Yeah, right. From AD, I
Yeah,
created a sample dummy application, and I gave, like as you said, on behalf of kind of thing. So that, I mean, I will be using the ID, application ID, and secret ID of that particular dummy registered application, and that application speaks to Azure Key Vault and gets that secrets.
correct. That's possible. That's fine.
But one more thing here is, like, again we are having secret ID and key vault. Yeah, secret ID and application ID. We are again configuring application config files. That is one more concern I had. But later I checked in Microsoft documentation, Azure documentation, that you can have a certificate exchange between on-premises and Azure. Something, I mean, you have to create a certificate, and then based on that you can communicate or establish a relation.
Yeah, that can be done until you have the Azure AD authenticated application. That's fine. That can be done.
Okay.
Shadab, what about the custom